ABC4 News.
Welcome back, everyone. Great information today when it comes to a silver lining of the pandemic. A new Intermountain Healthcare study shows that using telehealth for physical therapy after hip surgery has similar high-quality outcomes as in-person care. Dr. James Wiley is an orthopedic surgeon with Intermountain Healthcare. Joining us today to talk more about this. So, Dr. Wiley, set this all up and tell us what you've learned.
Yeah, so what we learned was that we had a group of patients that through our hip preservation clinic at Tosh did physical therapy through telehealth. It was actually just, most of these patients had their therapy just before the pandemic, but then we hit this pandemic and all of a sudden a lot of our patients had went to telehealth and we didn't know what the outcomes would be because we were forced to due to COVID. So what we did was we retrospectively looked back at the patients and we compared the patients that had previously done telehealth physical therapy after our hip arthroscopy surgeries. And what we found was that at least the point after surgery, they were getting similar outcomes compared to patients that were coming to in-person physical therapy, but the cost was also actually lower. So we were providing good value to the patients with a similar outcome at a decreased cost. And it gave us the comfort level during the COVID pandemic to transition many of our other patients to telehealth physical therapy.
Well, first of all, what a great opportunity, because if you just had a hip situation, you need to do the therapy. So great that it could continue even with the pandemic going on. For people who might be concerned that they want to have physical therapy in person and they want to see someone face to face, kind of walk us through how the telehealth option works and how it really was just as successful.
Yeah, so what happens was patients would see the surgeon at 2 weeks. A lot of these patients came to the orthopedic specialty hospital from far away, out of town, couldn't come on a weekly basis to physical therapy, but they had to come at 2 weeks to see their surgeon, get checked, have x-rays. And then what they would do is the physical therapist would see them at that visit, and then they would transition to a physical therapist assistant in our clinic, Brandy Horton, who took these patients and did video visits with them in between their next physician's visits, so they didn't have to travel all the way for physical therapy. And she would do what we're doing right now and Zoom with the patients and go through the exercises that they should be doing for that period of time in between physician visits, make sure they were doing them right, make sure they were hitting the appropriate milestones. And then most patients would come back for another physician visit around the 3-month mark. And at that point, they'd have another visit with the in-person physical therapist, but this provided that bridge where they're getting continued supervised care by a member of the physical therapy team, and that their outcome was going in the right direction, even if they were from 2 or 2.5 hours away and didn't want to travel weekly for physical therapy visits. So it provides that access for the more rural communities in our state where they might not have access to physical therapy otherwise.
So this is a major win. This is good for everybody involved. As a doctor who is seeing hands-on what's going on here, what do you find the most hopeful and optimistic and most beneficial from this new added ability to your program?
Well, I think that the most important part is that, not only are we providing the same level of care, but we're saving patients money. If a patient, and at convenience, you don't have to drive in, you don't have to get stuck in traffic, you don't have to park, all these things. If you can turn on your computer, as I did 10 minutes ago, and hop on a Zoom call or a WebEx meeting and meet with your physical therapist, and with the video ability that we have now, go through your exercises, make sure you're doing them right, and then go back to whatever else you're doing. You could do it in your office, you could do it at your house. It's incredibly convenient for patients. And given that you come in for PT, it may take half an hour, an hour. You can do this as a quick checkup in 20 minutes and save both time and money.
Okay, Dr. Wiley, this all sounds fantastic. Silver linings of the pandemic, most certainly. Right. Of course, more information on Intermountain Healthcare and all that they offer and all that the good they're doing can be found online at abc4.com. Thanks so much for joining us and have a great day.
Yeah, thank you.